I'm just going to give it over to you, sir.
Thank you, Lisa, very much. And yeah, if you would also keep an eye on the chat box for me, you know how that goes.
Yep.
So, everyone, Dan Spots for the Dalles Area Chamber, welcome to the Dalles Area Chamber Community Affairs. And I'd like to start by thanking Lisa for her work, dedication, getting up every Thursday, running these things in addition to everything else she is doing with the Chamber as Executive Director. Lisa, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Our guest this morning, and Lisa George, you'll have to forgive me on pronunciation. Lisa AbuAssaly George, I hope I'm somewhere right on that one, with Columbia Gorge Community College. And let's go ahead and turn it over to Lisa George with your, and if you'd like to screen share. But before we do that, we're going to do a fast round of introductions. If there are any really brief updates from folks, now's the time, and then we'll have time perhaps at the end of the meeting. But let's start with some introductions. I'm going to go around the screen here with Councillor McLaughlin.
Good morning. Timothy McLaughlin, City Council of the Dalles.
Thank you, Tim. Scott McKay.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Scott McKay, Community Liaison for Circles of Carroll.
Jake Anderson.
Jacob Anderson, Economic Development Officer for the City of the Dalles.
And Misa Olson.
Yes, Misa Olson with vocational rehabilitation on the workforce team.
Thank you for joining us. Corliss.
Good morning. Corliss Marsh, Habitat for Humanity, the library and the senior center. And also I know Lisa from the College Foundation.
It doesn't sound like we have any announcements this morning. So folks, let's go ahead and turn it over to Lisa. Lisa, take it away.
Good morning, everyone. It's so nice to see you all on this beautiful sunny Thursday morning. I'm Lisa AbuAssaly George. I like to pronounce, I like to help people if they have questions about how to pronounce my name, to remind them that there's a us in my name, Lisa AbuAssaly George, because my work is about bringing people together. I'm really happy to be here and share with you this morning. I have a PowerPoint with a few pictures. So I'm gonna share my screen and hope the tech gods are with us today. Let's see, slideshow. There we go. Can everyone see that okay?
Coming through just fine, Lisa.
Fantastic. Okay, I'm also gonna close my camera out while I have the PowerPoint going just for that little extra bandwidth boost. The name of my office at Columbia Gorge Community College is the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Here's my email. I'm going to give it to you up front in case you have any questions while I go through this presentation. Feel free to shoot me an email with any thoughts you have as we're talking. If you need to leave early or maybe aren't able to unmute your mic after I stop this PowerPoint presentation. I just want to start out by sharing the college's mission, vision, and priorities because my presentation is sort of going to be structured by those things. So yeah, here's the college's mission. CGCC prioritizes equitable access to education, empowers all students through learning, and also drives inclusive prosperity throughout our community. The college's vision is that as an institution of higher ed, CGCC innovates and excels, champions equity and inclusion, and nurtures belonging among our students, employees, and the community. And these three priorities that you see are going to be really important in understanding the structure of what's to come. So for instance, I'll be sharing news updates from the college according to these three bullet points, which are our college's priorities. CGCC prioritizes educational equity by ensuring equitable access to education, advancing equitable student learning and educational outcomes, and fostering economic growth, inclusive prosperity, and a thriving community. The agenda this morning is really three main points. First of all, I'll share some news on spring and summer college happenings. I wanted to share with you a little of the work my office is doing around supporting people who are on hiring committees. And get that really asks people to think about traditional ways of hiring, and then give you a little bit more of a teaser of what's coming up at the end of the summer and the beginning of the fall. So first of all, some news. Under the heading of equitable access, first of all, I wanted to share that on July 1st, 48 students from Escuela, formerly known as the Migrant Education Program, visited CGCC as part of a summer program partnership with the Discovery Center. The objective of the visit was to introduce young students to the idea that college is a friendly, inviting, and comfortable place to be in a learning environment. We really want to build the pipeline to college, starting with students as soon as they start going to school. Really supporting students to know that college is a place for them, that CGCC is warm and welcoming and can be their next step in their educational journey. Over 50 Hood River Valley High School students took their college level examination program Spanish exam on campus. Some people call it CLEP for short, but I wanted to spell it all out for you. With this exam, students might be eligible for credit for prior learning and the Seal of Biliteracy Award that recognizes high school graduates who have demonstrated proficiency in 2 or more languages. Also under the heading of equitable access, CGCC was awarded the first generation grant from the Oregon HEC. Some of you might be asking yourself, what the heck is the HEC? The HEC is the Higher Education Coordinating Commission. The primary goal of this grant is to provide access, programming, and support to first-year students through first-year experience. That's a class that we're expecting all new students to take at the college. Also math and writing gateway courses and co-rec labs. Now, under the heading of equitable learning and outcomes, I wanted to share the names of our department chairs at the college for the next 3-year terms. Some of you may know some of these folks. We have fantastic faculty of the college. We are really, really proud and want to congratulate our chairs, Lee Hancock, Pam Coop, Jim Pytel, Rob Kovacic, Dr. Zip Crummel, and Todd Meislin. These chairs help guide departmental goals, support fellow faculty and students, and continue to focus on achieving college priorities. Their work is just stellar. Also, under the heading of equitable learning and outcomes, just last week, the college hosted a visit from our mentors at San Antonio College. That is CGCC's mentor college in the Excellencia pilot program that CGCC participates in. Our mentors shared a wealth of experience related to how they use data and prepared themselves to apply for and earn the Seal of Excellencia, which is really recognition that CGCC is aspiring towards. The Seal of Excellencia recognizes colleges that go the extra mile to be more inclusive and adaptive to the needs of our Hispanic community. CGCC is a Hispanic serving institution, which means that our college serves all students, but that we have a demographic level of about 25% or more of students who identify as Hispanic. Under the heading of economic growth, inclusive prosperity, and a thriving community, I want to share with you that we had a lot of fun in May when CGCC recognized Mental Health Month with the theme Green Means Grow, encouraging our campus community to notice and celebrate small signs of personal and collective growth. Our events included wellness workshops, drop-in counseling, and awareness activities, both in person and online at the Dallas campus and Hood River. We want to thank everyone who participated and helped spread the message really of this beautiful blossoming hope, support, and inclusion at the college. And I'm so excited to say that for the very first time at the college, awards were presented honoring those who have contributed to diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging at CGCC. This represents a significant celebration of commitment at the college. There are 3 award categories, one for staff, one for faculty, and one for students. And the recipients were chosen by a subcommittee of the Equity Action Committee based on their demonstrated commitment and action to create a more inclusive, equitable, and vibrant space for all. Noemi Ochoa received the Staff Award. Tina Ontiveros received the Faculty Award, and our amazing student, Lexis Williams, received the award for students. And our fabulous CGCC science instructor, Jules Burton, was nominated for the Todd Lefebvre Sustainability Award. It's an annual award in memory of Todd J. Lefebvre that celebrates individuals, businesses, and students working on innovative, creative solutions to the environmental, economic, and social issues facing the Gorge. This year, CGCC conferred a total of 123 diplomas and certificates for spring. 74 of those were associate's degrees. So we're super happy and super proud of all of our students and our graduates. Graduation was really beautiful this year. I see there's some stuff popping up in the chat, so I'm just gonna check in. Oh, I see there's updates there. Amazing. Thank you.
And Lisa, we have Phil, who needs to be dropped into the meeting.
Okay.
Thank you. Lisa Farquharson, that was.
Oh,
He disappeared again, so I'll check it. I think his signal, he's driving, so I think his
Yeah.
signal's off. So
Yeah.
as soon as I see him, I'll let him in.
Okay. He messaged me. Thank you. Go ahead, Lisa.
thanks, Dan. Thanks, Lisa. So at the college, we are really, really proud of our employees. We want to make CGCC a destination and one of the great employers in the state. So as such, we started really thinking not so much about our hiring practices, but the dynamics on our search committees so that we can communicate to candidates very early on our priorities and also support more inclusive hiring practices. So I've developed a 6-hour workshop that asks participants to really examine what their goals are in an inclusive hiring situation. So I wanted to share a little bit about that with you now. This being the Dallas Chamber, if you have any questions about this, feel free to contact me in this room or offline by email. I'll share my email address again at the end of this presentation. The workshop is really fun, actually. I've gotten great reviews about it, and I wanted to share this picture with you because I show it to participants in the workshop to let them know that this is a very deep and reflective experience. It asks people to really think about things that sometimes we all take for granted. Now, during this presentation, we're not going to be able to do that, obviously, but I just wanted to share this picture with you also because it's pretty cool. During the workshop, we look at community demographics, and these are numbers from the American Community Survey for 2023 in the City of the Dalles and the City of Hood River. We, I don't think, have the 2024 numbers, at least the last time we looked, we did not. But they haven't changed too much, if they're ready. The reason that we look at community demographics is to help us understand kind of who the college is serving in the community by way of providing opportunities for inclusive education, providing opportunities for student success for everyone, and also for providing a destination for excellent jobs. The student demographics at CGCC in 2023, the same year, looked like this. We had a little bit of trouble collecting data, so almost 40% of our students had a race or ethnicity that was unknown. But as you can see, our demographics for students pretty closely mirror the demographics of the community.
Lisa, real fast question in the chat. That
Yeah.
work you talked about, is that in person or virtual?
It's always in person.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, because it's so highly interactive. We want to make sure that we can really support each other in understanding all of the communication cues that people share with each other.
All right.
There are 4 objectives of the training, really. The first one is to become aware of the value that introspection brings to our college community. We're a college, and really our superpower is sharing knowledge, sharing reflection. So we really want to lean into that. And then secondly, to understand how unquestioned processes affect the interview and hiring process. Thirdly, to develop skill in fostering a bias-free selection process. And then fourth, to learn strategies and also practice skills for advancing our efforts to building an even greater workforce than we have now. I mean, our workforce is pretty great at the college. I have to brag a little bit about that. And then in 6 hours, that's not very long, actually, considering the objectives. What we do first is kind of set a foundation with definitions and then check in with some concepts and apply them to our own experience on search committees. We explore cross-cultural communication and role play that. We learn about the hiring process. We check in with some tools to improve committee dynamics, and then we practice scenarios to put it all together. So it's super, super interactive. I'll share a little bit of it with you now. This is kind of a little bit of the foundation setting we do in the workshop. I am a sociologist, and so I tended to focus on not just the interpersonal, but the institutional. And I like to remind people that institutions have a bias. And those institutions generally lean towards doing things the way that they've always been done. And unless there's like an intentional, very deliberate change inserted there, if there is a little bit of change introduced, if it's not supported a lot, especially at first, things tend to roll back to the way they were before. And those humans in those institutions tend to conform to those entrenched institutional practices. So we talk about that. What's that like for the individuals in the room in the workshop? I shared this video. This video is about the conformity experiment that's kind of famous. Many of you might know about it. It is about the experiment of Solomon Asch, who showed participants in the experiment lines of different length and asked people to identify whether the lines were the same or not. In these experiments, most of the people who were participants, quote unquote, in the experiment were actually actors. And there was only one person who didn't know what was going on in the experiment. They were the person who was sort of being documented through their experience. The researchers would show everybody these lines of different lengths and ask the folks if they were different or the same. And the people would all agree, except towards the end of the experiment. The people in the room were shown lines of different lengths, clearly different lengths. And all of the actors in the room said they were the same. The researchers were interested in what would happen to the person who was not an actor. And in more cases than not, that person, the non-actor, agreed with the people who stated that the lines were the same when they were clearly different. If you'd like to know more about this experiment, it's relevant to us in our hiring practices. It's relevant to us in a lot of the work we do in institutions and government. It's called Asch's Conformity Experiment on Groupthink. It's a fantastic video. It has closed captions, so it's accessible to everyone. You can also read up a lot about it on Google or take any sociology class and you'll probably hear about it.
Lisa, do you have a link for that video that you could put in the chat box?
I do. It's actually embedded in this presentation.
Okay.
So I can extract it when we exit the PowerPoint. It's a pretty fun video. If we have time toward the end of the meeting, maybe we can watch it together.
I confess I've never heard of that experiment. It's fascinating. Please go on.
Yeah, it is super fascinating. And it gives us the opportunity to think like not only about what's going on in a room with other people, but like what's going on in a room with ourselves. And we get to ask ourselves like, how much of my decision is sort of unquestioningly going along with the stuff that I haven't thought about.
Look at this line. And now look at these three.
Okay. Another definition that I remind people of as a sociologist, I'm always going to lean into the concept of norms. Norms are present in all societies, even ours, and they're present in all subcultures. Norms give rise to acceptable and stable behavioral patterns and influence how members perceive and interact with each other. We talk about those dynamics. Oops. And then we also talk about research. I share some research around hiring. There was a classic study that is referred to a lot in the literature. It was done in, or published, I should say, in 2003, called Are Emily and Greg More Employable Than Lakeisha and Jamal? This study sent resumes out into the community that were identical. The only difference were the names on top of the resumes. Emily, Greg, Lakeisha, and Jamal. The resumes were exactly the same, but Emily and Greg received more callbacks for interviews, and they also received more job offers than Lakeisha and Jamal. 2003, we might ask ourselves, well, this is 2025. Have things changed? Let's take a trip through time. In 2014, Moster-Kusin found that using the same methodology of sending identical resumes out, John got more STEM jobs than Jennifer. Identical resumes, more callbacks on those resumes. In 2024, in a study that was published by Klein, Rose, and Walters, we learned that name bias is still a pervasive issue in the hiring process. The study analyzed distinctly Black names and white names, as well as male and female names, among other demographic differences. The results revealed that white and female names received the most callbacks, followed by white male names. Black male names and Black female names were called back the least, respectively. When assessing gender differences, the researchers did not find prominent differences in callback rates between male and female applicants. Overall, racial differences were more pronounced. Results did vary by industry and firm, with the automobile industry having more pronounced racial differences in callback rates than other industries. And just recently, a study was published by Kim Park Lowe et al. That found that even for high school students applying to selective colleges, Black, Hispanic, first-generation students and first-generation students receive shorter letters of recommendation in general. So it's incumbent on us on search committees to ask ourselves, like, do we have a preference for someone who went to, for instance, Harvard over someone who went to Portland State University? And why is that? Really asking ourselves to really call into question what it is we're looking at, what criteria the job description is asking for, and how and if those candidates meet those criteria, but also what our perceptions about the meeting of those criteria are.
Lisa,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a weird pause for just a second. I messaged, but I don't know that Jacob saw my message. We had a glitch, and for some reason, Jacob got made the host, and so we can't let people in that have been trying to get in. So Jacob, if you're listening, could you just make Dan the host? For some reason, you guys were sitting next to each other and it skipped. If you could do that, that would be most awesome, or let Phil in. So sorry to interrupt you, Lisa, but we're trying to make sure everybody's on here, and for some reason it did some wackadoodle glitches.
That explains it, Lisa. I've been searching all over trying to figure out why I'm not the host.
It's not showing that I'm the host.
That's weird. Corliss, it shows that you're the co-host. It really went weird this morning. So
I
Corliss,
know.
if you
I
can,
keep trying to admit Phil.
oh, you keep trying.
Because
Can
yeah,
you make Dan the host?
I can whatever.
I switched it to Dan. Let's see
Oh,
if that works.
Okay.
Go. See, there's always something interesting. So, but Dan, can you see stuff now?
I am
Up at
looking
the,
at- I'm not seeing him. No.
okay, and it could be his signal is really weak. So
Yeah.
one, I apologize everybody, but thank you for accommodating. And now, Lisa, we can go back to our regular scheduled information.
Oh, thanks, Lisa. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, everyone. There are some things coming up at the college that I wanted to share with you. This isn't everything, but this is what I can share on July 24th today. First of all, we are so happy to share that the president of Clackamas Community College, Tim Cook, is running multi-marathons to raise money for Oregon Community College students. His journey will take him on a 1,500-mile route over 50 days. He's going to run across the state of Oregon to each of 17 community colleges in the state to raise awareness and support student basic needs. You can follow his journey right now by looking at him on Instagram at Run for Oregon ORCC students, or you can join the cause and donate at runfororccstudents.org. And also on August 7th, he'll be ending his journey right here in the Gorge. At 8 a.m. on August 7th, he's going to start at CGCC Hood River Center and run down to the river. At 9 o'clock, there's going to be a big party. We hope you can all join us and at the finish line for Tim. We'll have coffee and bagels and snacks and hear from him. Hear all about his journey. We really hope that you can join on September 13th. Our famous Founders Cup golf tournament will be taking place. I think, I'm not sure, maybe Corliss has some info on this one. There are still some spots for teams. If you would like to join the tournament or if you'd like more information, you can drop an email to our fabulous Executive Director, Sue Davis at sdavis@cgcc.edu. We really hope that you can come play with us or even volunteer at the event to raise money for CGCC college student scholarships. And then on October 8th, we'll be celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month with our second annual Hispanic Heritage Month poetry reading. What we do is ask people to share their favorite poems by Chicano, Latino, Latine, Hispanic poets. And we do that and watch a few short video clips of people's favorite poems. We hope that you'll join us for that too. Please stay in touch. Here's my email address again. If you would like to just email me any questions or just to say hi, always up for coffee too, if you'd just like to hang out and touch base. I'm going to stop sharing the screen right now.
Hello, this is Phil Brady. I finally was able to join the meeting. Thanks for everybody's help. And Lisa, I'll check out the rest of your presentation on the recording.
Oh, welcome back, Phil. Okay, great. We'll see you on the internet then.
Bill, I'm glad you were able to join. I had to take myself off mute. Obviously, I haven't had enough coffee yet this morning. Do we have questions for Lisa around the room? if I'm sure there are questions out there, but I'm going to go ahead and get one started. And Lisa, it's going to be the elephant in the room question. You're title director of DEI, and boy, it seems like that's a trigger word anymore. I know of a $20 million grant of the Dows that got canceled because it had some DEI language in it. Can you tell us, are there adverse impacts on college funding, on your ability to function? Sorry to put you in the hot seat, but it's all over the country right now. What's your experience?
Yeah, I'm so glad to have this conversation. Yeah, that grant, Dan, maybe you can share a little bit about that, but right now we are still doing our work that supports our strategic plan. The values that I shared at the beginning of the presentation, our mission, vision, and priorities have not changed. The work that we're doing, it's not illegal, and it's really important. We at the college are against anticipatory obedience. That is the name of an essay that was shared by the American Association of University Professors. There are a couple of different approaches. Some are not the approach that we're taking at the college. We are really happy to make this statement that what we're doing is important. We love our community. We love our students. We love to support everyone through our educational mission at the college. And that is inclusive education that supports inclusive prosperity. So yeah, none of that is illegal. And so far, no one has asked us to stop. Now, the grant, Dan, maybe you can talk about that a little bit and share for people who might be viewing this presentation who don't have the details. I think you know a little bit more nuanced information about that than I do.
And I won't have any recent updates on this one, Lisa, but this, of course, was the Environmental Protection Agency Community Change Grant awarded to Columbia Gorge Education Service District. The college was a partner in that because part of the grant would have funded a faculty position for the agricultural technology program. This would have renovated former Chenoweth Middle School as the Columbia Gorge Early Learning Center. The grant was awarded, it was under federal contract in December, and it was rescinded without explanation. I believe that was in March, as I recall. We asked congressional staff to look into it. They did. I know that they were doing their best, but again, no outreach to ask what the grant would have done. The grant was written for competition in 2024, as I recall, and you needed to write the grant to talk about things like climate change, DEI, how that would benefit, how the project would benefit the community in context of those issues. And regrettably, those same issues then came back to be used as justification for pulling the grant, because under a new administration, those are bad terms. So anyway, more to come. The good news is that a $500,000 cleanup grant, also awarded through EPA, is still on board, and so at least we're able to take the asbestos out of former Chenoweth Middle School and perhaps put the whole thing on hold. Who knows? The building will still be there. The need for childcare, affordable public childcare, is certainly still there. Wait, I know that we had discussed a couple of meetings ago about having the ESD on board to give us an update on that one. So we'll get that on schedule and other things with ESD to see where they stand now. And I see we have a message in chat from Misa at vocational rehab. She's had to change her verbiage from DEI to inclusive. Oh goodness. Anyway, questions for Lisa? around the table?
Yeah, and thanks for that update, Dan. I mean, I just want to point out that this movement towards verbiage, stopping verbiage instead of stopping the work is not recognizing that like this work needs to be done. Like we needed that renovation and that update to community services in the Gorge. We really needed that. Everybody did, and everybody would have benefited, right? So while it is an attack on words, it's also an attack on the work. And to a big extent, it's an attack on community, right? So yeah, thanks for sharing that. And thanks for sharing that also, Misa. Our work is inclusive. You know, if we ask ourselves like, why is someone against DEI? We might ask ourselves like, what's the opposite of diversity? Why are we against DEI? Why are we against diversity? What's the opposite of that? What are we for? Right? If we're against equity, what's the opposite of that? Inequity. What are we for? Inequity. If we're against the I part, inclusion, what's the opposite of inclusion? It's exclusion, right? And really targeting those three letters has given us the opportunity to hope for a better day when we can do that renovation and support our community in that multifaceted way. For now, we're going to keep doing the work as much as we can. Yeah.
Well, and of course, I'll admit to being just a little bit partial to Columbia Gorge Community College, but Lisa, thank you for what you're doing.
Thanks.
A very thoughtful conversation, thought-provoking. Questions for Lisa around the table? If not, we're going to go to some announcements, but I just want to be certain that we
This is Phil Brady. I'll pipe in. We had another series of grants canceled with regard to the Crisis Resolution Center. And can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, Phil, you're fine.
And I'm trying to get closer to the bottom of it, but as I've looked into it so far, it hasn't been connected to DEI. It hasn't been. It's as far as I can look at it, it's more of a Medicaid issue than a word preference issue. So I'll leave it at that. But I would say that's the Resolution Center isn't the same policy shift as we saw with the Childhood Development Center.
Phil, one would hope that we can put that project back on track at some point. Again, acute need, and the county had a very innovative approach. We hope we can put it back on track someday.
I will say the decision was made by the Oregon Health Authority, and in sympathy, it was probably a very difficult decision because the state hospital is getting fined daily, and what we were proposing was part of the solution. So it's a hard decision for them to make.
Understood. Well, unless we have questions, I'm going to go into some announcements then. And first off, if everyone take a look at the chat box, Lisa put a couple of chamber events up there. We have the deadline coming up for the Distinguished Citizens Award Banquet. Time for nominations right now. There's a link in the chat box. The deadline is August 8th. Again, for nominations for Distinguished Citizens Award Banquet, a night to remember, honoring heroes, celebrating community. And support the Chamber's youth, support the youth livestock auction coming up August 16th, Wasco County Fairgrounds. Dallas Chamber, of course, rallying behind this. And if you'd like to contribute to the Chamber's pool on that one, donations must be received by August 13. Ways to donate: stop by the chamber office, call the chamber 296-2231, or email, and the email is in the chat box there. And then I have an update from Phil. Phil, you're still on the phone. Would you like to provide your update?
Yes, first let me ask a question about the Distinguished Citizen Award. What's the geographic range for that? Is that Gorge, the city, the county?
We try to hit the county. We try to keep it within the county because the chamber is the county seat here. We're not the county chamber. We have multiple chambers around, but we try to target Wasco County as it seems to resonate better. But we do want to make sure that it includes the whole county. So anybody in there, we have not, I don't know that we've even had somebody submit outside of our county, but you know, if they're close by and on the cusp of Wasco County, we'll probably consider, and depending on what that is. But we have 8 categories. So I know we all know somebody that fits one of those categories. So please, please, please submit that. It's a special evening, just so you guys know, on September 11th. We changed our banquet from January to September, so we wouldn't have to cancel anymore due to snow and ice. Really hard to change your caterer 2 days before a snowstorm. So we moved it and we tried to find a date, and we always do it on the Thursday, and that happened to land on September 11th. So we'll be doing a military honor, and we'll be doing a special first responder. We'll have our color guard doing a presentation at the beginning. We're just super excited because it's at the Fort Dallas Readiness Center, which is a training center for our military. And so it just fits. So we're super excited about this one. We got goosebumps thinking about the date that it landed on. So we hope that everybody will join us and just celebrate as a community, those who live here. And we have people who live here who were present at 9/11. And so it's in a phenomenal time that we get to say thank you. So we hope that you guys nominate and come.
Okay, thank you. I have a couple of people in mind. If I can make an announcement regarding Gorge Commission, is that okay?
Yes, please do.
The Gorge Commissioner position for Wasco County is open. There are 13 Gorge Commissioners. Each county commission appoints one. The governor appoints another one for each county. There is a Forest Service position. I believe there is a Native Tribe position, and I can't think of how else one more to add up to 13. Elaine Albrecht resigned a couple months ago as a Wasco County delegate or commissioner, and we've been put out announcement. Did not get out very broadly. People were not aware of it. We had one applicant apply. I asked, or I said we should extend the application time. And since then, other people have submitted applications. I'll give you the list of those who have applied. Usually when the county commission makes an appointment, these appointments to boards like the library board come to us generated from people that board have recruited. The Gorge Commission doesn't have that kind of base to it, and so it's really up to the county commissioners to search out and advertise and bring this in. Here are the people who applied so far. Steve Lawrence was first to apply. Darcy Long submitted an application. Chris Zukin submitted an application. Thomas Rojas is 6 months new to the community, but he has extensive background in sustainable development and actually used to work for USAID a long time ago, and also has connections to the Forest Service from his work in Alaska. And Bill Noonan, and who else am I thinking of? Was that 5? Chris Zukin, Darcy Long, Steve Lawrence, Thomas Rojas, and Bill Noonan. Dan, I sent you a text link. Did I catch everybody there?
That was the list. Chris, Darcy, Thomas, Bill, and Steve.
So what's going to happen next? We don't have a real rigid structure because this doesn't happen often enough. But the last time we asked the applicants to write some answers to questions related to their positions on Gorge issues, and then the commissioners decided, had discussion, a public discussion, to pull out make our selection from them. So that'll take another couple weeks.
Thank you.
Phil, we appreciate your making the effort to extend the deadline. It's always good to have more than one candidate for a position. And from what I know of those names, they're all good. So that's a good problem to have.
Thank you. I agree. I think we have good representatives there that understand both the natural value and also the need for economic development in our communities.
Other announcements around the table. We have a few minutes left here before we wrap up. I'm sure there are other things going on that people need to know about from this group that we have this morning. Well, if not, might give you a few minutes back in your morning. Lisa, did I miss anything?
Nope, you got it all just fine.
All right. I almost forgot to offer introductions this morning, though, so.
You got yourself. You got it. I was about ready to wrap it up, but you got it.
I gotta be sure about the coffee. That's the key.
Yes, that helps. It makes everything better.
All right, everyone. We will get the technology figured out. And Tim.
Last Wednesday night at about 6:30, there was an accident near my home. Two teenagers, one plowed into a telephone pole, taking down all the power in our area. Power runs all of your alarm clocks. I missed last week where I was to appear and answer questions. That's the reason why. Is, when I was a principal and I had a student sitting across from me, and I heard a lot of excuses. And, the dog ate my homework. And so anyway, I looked at this young girl, and her name was Crystal Stanton. And I said, now, do I have stupid written across my forehead? And she said, no, Mac, it must have been erased. So this one was a legitimate excuse for that accident. So I'm groveling and I apologize. I missed last week, so I'm here this week listening.
Tim, were those kids okay?
Yeah. Actually, they walked away.
Oh, good.
Did this happen to be were they driving a Mustang?
Yes. And
why are young girls driving a Mustang?
Phil,
it's not a young girl car.
We have an issue up at the park, and young people feel that, Fast and Furious, and what they'll do is they'll get like 5 cars all within a short space, and then they'll go fast up Scenic Drive. And these 2 girls were going faster than the speed limit, let's put it that way, and lost control. And yes, it plowed right into the pole, fell over. I don't know how that young girl walked away, but they did. So no injuries. But it did take all the power out. Anything south of that accident.
Well, we promise we'll get you rescheduled.
That's right.
All right. And I'll do my best to answer. So
Okay.
Thank you. And
Thank you, Tim.
So this is what a sunrise looks like. I'm
Indeed.
just kidding. Right, Jake? Is Jake still on there? No.
I'm
Okay.
still on here,
Oh,
but I'm
still
not
on there.
responding to
Jake's still
you
on there.
and high school anymore.
Tim, you can be glad this isn't the Lions Club. We would have all sorts of fines for you for missing out.
Oh, man. Yeah, I know that for sure. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim. And
All right.
everyone, Lisa put the chat to the conformity experiment. That link is in the chat box. All right, everyone. With that, let's close it up, and we'll see you next Thursday, 7 a.m.
Right on.